Yo, hello guys. So many times I sit here before I record a video and I think for about 5-10 minutes and I think, what am I going to make a video about? And eventually I find something either through a comment or I think of an idea and I just press record and go. And I just kind of riff away for 10 minutes. There's no script, there's no preparation. All the stuff you see on this channel is basically just stream of consciousness out into that webcam and out onto the internet. And I typically like it that way. It means I can make quick videos. It means that I can get a lot of content out to you guys. It means that I don't have to spend a lot of time editing, cutting and pasting loads of random bits together, etc., etc. So there's a lot of bonuses to it. Also, it means I can give you really my purest, least filtered ideas. The thing about scripting and about doing a lot of preparation for videos is it gets away from the authentic side of your character a little bit and more towards pre-planned, everything's kind of organized into compartments, all this kind of stuff, which can work well. But I think typically on YouTube and typically nowadays, people just like to see authenticity. They like to see a character. They like to get to know somebody. Yeah. So this is a one-way relationship, unfortunately. I'm talking to you, but I've got no idea who you are. I've got no idea, what you think and what your ideas are, all that. So really, this is you getting to know me a lot more so than me getting to know you. I do get to know you guys somewhat through the comments, somewhat through your responses to videos and things. But that's a relatively small snippet of who you are in comparison to what I put out to you guys. It's a funny thing to think about. Anyway, I wanted to think about and talk about today becoming a red-pilled singer. And one thing I feel like is that out of all the people out there, I feel like I kind of am a truly red-pilled singer. And I wanted to just briefly talk about that today as well. What is a red-pilled singer? I'd say the main thing, the thing that really distinguishes me and my ideas from a lot of other people's is, and why I would call it red-pilled, is that a long time ago, I made a realization, I guess, a decision and a kind of conscious understanding of this point, really. The point that when it comes to singing and when it comes to a lot of things in life, people don't know what they're talking about. They've got very little idea. All they're really doing is repeating the small, tiny snippets of knowledge that they might have heard from other people through the years. And when you really start to let that point solidify and really start to understand it, what you start to realize is there's very few people out there that really know what they're talking about. And that includes a lot of coaches out there, unfortunately. And I'd say there's degrees of red pillness, if you like. Some coaches are somewhat red pilled. They do know that the majority are wrong, that there's a lot of things you can learn to do and improve on as a singer, and that it's just a skill set like anything else. That's red pilled views. The typical dominant view in society and culture in regards to singing is you're born with it or you're not, as we all know. But it goes further than that. Some coaches are red-pilled some in that they do understand it's a skill set, but I feel like they don't necessarily get down to the raw basic fundamental skills that you need, and they don't necessarily think about things. They're not able to separate as much purely functional mechanics, which is what I talk about on this channel mostly, versus style. They aren't able to put a razor blade through there and really separate the two. And because of that, and I think this is one of the criticisms of speech level singing and singing success that they face, is that especially with Brett Manning and his teaching and moving on from SLS, is we get these funny little exercises that are so functional that, and I've had this in lessons before where I'm doing these really super functional exercises with somebody, and in my head I'm thinking, how does this relate to singing for this singer? Because to me, it relates completely. I understand we're just working on mechanics, isolated mechanics. There's no artistry, there's no style, there's nothing. It's just how easy can I make this on a functional level? And that's what I teach. But it's very easy to get so far away from singing, in one sense, that the student and people at large can feel alienated. And, I've seen coaches like Ken Tamplin make critical videos of Brett and SLS in regards to functional sounds that have no practical application. They don't sound like singing. There's these kinds of criticisms. And these are the kinds of coaches I would say are somewhat red-pilled, but also still kind of stuck in the it's got to sound good at all times type mindset. They're not able to put that razor blade down there and really understand, right, you've got mechanics, you've got function, you've got isolating muscle groups, you've got doing it as easily as possible, relaxing all the muscles you don't need. Then you've got the icing on the cake, you've got style, you've got artistry, you've got emotion, all that stuff. And musicality in general. Because to be utterly honest, you could have a perfectly mechanically functioning voice that is perfect technically, and have no musicality, no artistry, no emotion, no nothing. You would effectively be a robot, yeah? And that's really the point here, is that the perfect technician as a singer isn't the best singer at all. They're the singer that is the most able to forget about technique, because it is not going to get in their way. But there's always this balance. But the key point is, when we're talking about red-pilled singers and a red-pilled understanding of singing, is this idea that we have to understand that function can be seemed very disconnected from singing. But if we understand it as just, we're learning mechanics, we're learning to isolate muscle groups, we're learning to relax what we don't need, all these kinds of things. Whilst it seems abstract on the surface, if we understand that this is just one compartment, it's one section of a broader picture that we're going to have to work on, it just creates a wonderful sense of power for a singer, because they finally understand, right, I don't have to work at singing all at once. I don't have to go out and perform songs, or I don't have to practice songs, and just hope that it will work. I can work on this part of singing, then I can work on this part of singing, then I can work on this part of singing. And I can eventually, over time, bring all those separate skill sets together into one cohesive, coherent package. And that's where we have wonderful, great music. More than anything, typically, singers will either lack on it from a technical standpoint and have good artistry and good musicianship, or they will lack on a musical, they will lack in a creative musical sense, and they will have some good technique going on. And we want to be a singer that balances out those two, the function and the artistry, the mechanics and the creativity. Yeah? And that to me is really what a red-pilled singer is, a singer who is really able to see the, what do they call it? The forest for the trees, I think. Able to understand the broader picture of what's going on, and why functional sounds, whilst they sound extremely abstract, sound nothing like singing at times. In fact, they can sound ugly, but they can feel good. And it's that feeling good sensation that we're trying to latch onto when we're working on technique. It's that that broader understanding. And I'd encourage you, if you're working at your own technique, trying to make singing easier, is to give yourself room to make strange sounds. Give yourself room to work from a completely functional perspective. And what you'll find is you'll start to traverse right through the middle of these two separate problems, artistry and mechanics. And you'll be able to pull them apart. And then you'll be able to start making some great music, which is what we all want to do. And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you soon. Bye! Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you want my help personally, you can book a one-on-one training session. Drop me a message. My email is in the description. And if you feel like this message was of value, then please feel free to make a donation equal to that value. Again, donation link is in the description. And finally, please share this video with other singers you know. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in another video. Bye.